Yeah,
Hey, what's going on? This is KLA Cloud from Wanderer. Good morning. Depends where you at. Um, I have a special guest with me. Some uh the creator of Meggo Comics.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. How you been, man?
I'm good. Thank you for bringing me on your program.
No problem.
Appreciate.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the offer.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah. So yeah, I stumbled across stumbled across your Instagram and I stumbled across Meggo Comics and on Instagram.
Yeah,
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 I never like seen like I don't see too often Nigerian comics or cartooning or anything like that. I did interview a brother that was Nigerian and he did animation and stuff. So, and I seen your
okay.
stuff, I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. So,
Yeah, there are a lot of Nigerian comic artists. The thing is, there's not much of visibility for them. And I know quite a few of them, my friends, who had given up on the comic art because the sponsorship and the, let's say, the attention is not there. So they decided to explore other careers. But for me personally, I think I'm one of the few that have remained in the game for years. Started right when I was a child, and even though there's not much of that, it's not as an established craft in Nigeria as it is in places like the US. But then some of us still do it because of the love we have for comics, hoping that one day that it could get the attention it gets in other established comic cultures. But there are good comic artists over here in Nigeria. Yeah,
okay. Well, I could show you some of the stuff. I could show the viewers your artwork. There you go.
yeah.
What are your comics about? Like,
It's about superheroes or characters that address different societal issues. The superheroes, as usual, have villains to contend with to make the society a better place. They have one or two enemies they're trying to fight. So that's the normal comic story, the protagonist versus the antagonist. Yeah, but I am approaching it from a Nigerian angle. We also have our own characters here, names and storylines that we can tap from and create superheroes to address those issues.
okay.
Yeah.
Like, could you, like, what are the comics the so you're like an artist or a writer?
That's really an interesting question. I think I am all of them put into one.
Oh, okay,
Here in
okay,
Nigeria, you don't have, you don't have a situation where you can say you do the inking, you do the coloring, you do the editing of the story, you tell the story. It should be split up. Like the roles are supposed to be performed by different people. But you don't have, like I said, there is no vibrant comic culture in Nigeria per se, even though it's gearing up. Over the few years, we've seen some form of popularity in the comic medium. But for me, I'm like everything rolled into one because who are you going to call to run it for you? So I had to learn
yeah,
how to tell my own stories, create the characters in my head, pencil them down, and type in the speeches, that's the conversations and edits. and then also do the digital coloring myself. So
Okay.
it's just like a one-man army. But earlier in my career, I had the help of probably when I was still in secondary school, I had the help of my little brothers because we are still living under the same roof. So sometimes some of them will come into the area of checking out my grammar, making sure everything is okay, trying to help me color because back then we were coloring with things like crayons, coloring comics with crayons. So my younger brother would help me do that. And so if you read some comics about Black Thunder, the first edition, you discover I put their names there to acknowledge their contributions. But somewhere along the line, as we grew up, they explored other career options. So I was left like to keep grooming this brand, the Meggo Comics brand. So I had to fuse all these roles into me. I had to become the inker, the storyteller, and the digital colorist. So it's like me being everything in one, or the job doesn't get done.
Right. So why don't you tell me about some of your the characters that you created, like Black Thunder? Um, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That's the
Yeah.
flagship character. Flagship character. I created when I was still an undergraduate. The idea just came into my head. A hero that would represent the black race and probably with the speed and ferocity of the thunder. That's how he actually goes after enemies, the bad guys. So the idea just came into my head, fusing the name Black and Thunder into one. I wanted a hero that would have the the strength of the thunder. Because sometimes, even in this place in Africa, sometimes when it rains, the sound of the thunder it actually scares you, and it has that loud sound. So that was a point of attraction for me, and I wanted to also infuse the origin of the hero into his name. So that's how the Black and Thunder came about. Yeah,
You ever are you familiar with Black Lightning?
Black Lightning. Yeah, I think I've heard that on the movie, right?
It's
That's
not
a movie,
it's not a movie. It was a TV series, but
TV series.
they
Yes, yes,
yeah they but it's interesting. White guys invented that. A white guy invented Black Lightning.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
And Black
like
Thunder, I created Black Thunder, like I said, probably in the late 90s, 98, while I was still a student in the secondary school, 98, thereabout. And the first printout of Black Thunder was like an all black and white comic because as a student, I
yeah.
couldn't afford to print a color comic. So as at then that I created it, I wasn't familiar with Black Lightning, and I was yet to watch the series. You know, the series were created in the I think 2015, right, or 2014.
Oh, your comic.
No, I mean Black Lightning,
Oh, the series.
the
Yeah, yeah,
series.
around. Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh,
this
yeah.
Black Thunder was created way back in the 90s. So it was
Okay.
okay. There are no similarities, there are no much similarities in the name, but it's more like a case of coincidence. The
Well,
hero had
the
dictated
comic
before
book.
I did the series.
Well, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
The comic book was created in the 70s.
In
The
the 70s.
yeah, in the 1970s. But
Okay. Okay.
it wasn't that popular like that. Like there was a time where they had like a cartoon version of it, but they changed the license of it. But like fast forwarding that they just came out with a series at that
Mm-hmm.
particular time, like 2015, like you said, the TV series that was like the adaptation
Yeah,
of the comic
of the
book.
comics.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay, all right. So it's there are two different. If you look at the backgrounds, there are two different superheroes. This guy's
right.
background, Black Thunder, came up as a little kid that was a house help to a wicked auntie. So he ran away from home when the punishment got so bad and collapsed inside a bush. And a rich man adopted him, took him home as he was unconscious, took him home. So in his magnanimity, he took him in as his son and adopted. This was a man who had lost his original family in an accident. The only son he had and the only wife he had lost him in an accident. So he adopted this boy into his home. And over time, this boy proved worthy of his trust and he made him an heir. That was how his life changed. And the businessman said, okay, fine. If I could make this guy an heir to my wealth and my business, seeing he's the only relation I have, why can't I make him an heir to the superpower I have? The Black Thunder you're seeing now is not the first Black Thunder. He is actually the second Black Thunder. The first Black Thunder
Okay.
is his adopted dad. So seeing that he was getting old and he wasn't as functional and strong as he used to be, he handed over the mantle of Black Thunder to his adopted son. So he continued from there. So the background is and the storyline entirely different, and the idea was conceived independently from any other superhero that
Yeah.
has ever existed.
How did he get his powers?
Well, that's a future edition I'm going to work on. But the father transferred it through a blood contact. So the power, the Black Thunder power, is like somehow miraculously the strength of the thunder fused with his system. But the issue was that he wouldn't allow his blood to come in contact with somebody else's, or else the energy transfers into the recipient. So, but he intentionally did that because he knew he didn't have much time. He was getting old. So he had to pass it on to his child through a blood kind of contact. And he also got the energy instantly. So it was like a way of handing over the baton of the Black Thunder to him. So probably sometime in future, this present Black Thunder could also hand it over to somebody. The power and that superhero identity stays constant, but there could be other people. The mantle could change hands.
Okay. So would you say like what inspired you to do it like with the thunder like that occurs in Africa?
Yeah, the thunder is something. Even when I was a kid, when it strikes, the sound scares you. So it's like it had force.
Right.
And again, when it strikes, sometimes it lights up. If it's in the night, it lights up everywhere. So all
Okay.
these ideas, I try to like bring them into a personality. Somebody that comes in the midst of the bad guys, in the darkness of corruption and crime, he lights up everywhere. And the sound and the force he brings with him spells doom for the bad guys. And then I also wanted to capture the speed of the thunder, build it in as part of his characteristics. That
Mm,
one of the reasons why I created that hero was I needed someone, a character who could address some societal ills. Like if you go towards the third edition of Black Thunder, you discover that he went up against a gang of kidnappers. And of course, part of the problem we have in Nigeria is this issue of kidnapping. But I did that
okay.
story long ago before this thing became a problem. So it was more like a prophetic kind of storyline I ran. But apart from the kidnap, I also wanted to create a character that will address different types of crime you see in the society. Probably the top politicians trying to oppress the poor, probably bringing out bad guys that intimidate the poor and get stuff from them. We need a character that would address these issues and face the corrupt people in society fearlessly. Then this issue of kidnappers and so many other, there are storylines about bad things people do in societies that it's an endless pool where you can draw one issue from. Then the next one you create a story from another societal problem. It's just gradually, but I wanted to capture somebody. I want to create somebody that will address some of these problems fearlessly. And I think the lesson there is that Black Thunder is a human being, but he had something, an energy and a force he could use. He could have as well chosen to use it as a bad guy and extort money from people, but he decided to use it for the good of the society. What I'm trying to pass across in that story is every each one of us has something, probably position, authority, or money, or influence, or skill that we can use to attack societal problems and make the world a better place. Every one of us has that superhero attribute in him. There is something you have that others may not have. Use it to make the society better.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, like so did you ever go to art school or anything like that?
I didn't have to go. Yeah, I went to the University of Port Harcourt, but it's not like that was what kicked. I read visual arts in the University of Port Harcourt, Nigeria, but that wasn't what sparked my love for comics. I had started, I had developed this love for comics when I was yet to start primary school. I was just a little kid. So my eldest brother would come home with some comics. Yeah, I remember he used to come home with Incredible Hulk comics, Spider Man from school, from his classmates, and he would buy some from the supermarket on his way and bring it. So he would start sketching some of those images. Then I would stay close to him as a little kid, a preschooler, also scribbling my own funny images. So from them, I think that was when that interest sparked. Somewhere along the line, he stopped drawing comics, stopped buying them, but I continued that culture. I discovered that he sparked, probably that has always been in me, that he was like the hand that set it off. I continued with it and I discovered that I have a natural love for comics. I kept doing comics primary school, secondary school, before I even entered into the university. When it was time for me to go into the university, it was like a no brainer. I said I wanted to study visual arts. So that was what I studied in the University of Port Harcourt. And I even did a master's on graphics too. So my ride with arts it wasn't influenced by anything but the passion I have for comics.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I would obviously, yeah, that I was just asking, like, did you have like any training like with art and all that stuff? Because there's artists that, I've talked to. I was talking to one in Italy, and he never went to art school, but he had a mentor and stuff. And so, he became like a comic book artist. Yeah. So,
Yeah, over here in Nigeria, you don't, like I said, it's a rare art form. Comics is a rare
right.
art form. Even if you go to the universities, you don't have areas where they teach you how to illustrate or draw comics. No. So I think my mentor was myself, but the person that sustained that interest was my elder brother. He sparked it off. So
Mm,
most times I would buy comics. Even when I was in primary school, I would buy comics and try to copy the images I saw there. Most of the comics were more like most of the comics I had were, if I remember, Superman, Firestorm, and
okay.
Batman. So I'll try to. I had a collection as a little kid. My dad would give me pocket money for the week, and then instead of me buying snacks or drinks or juice, I'll save them up. And when it's up to the amount to buy a comic book, I'll go into a supermarket. There is one supermarket back there, serious supermarket. I would always go there, pick comics, bring them home, read. After reading, I'll copy some of the action figures there. So it was like I was using those comic books to perfect my art. Comic books were my mentor, but I had it in me to sometime create my own superheroes because I wasn't. My immediate elder brother told me, you can't draw white superheroes. You are practicing with their comics here. You're just trying to like make your strokes solid. But you have to at some point create black superheroes. Don't make your superheroes have long moves and stuff like that. You need to start incorporating some of these African attributes into your superheroes and create an indigenous black superheroes because over here people can't relate to a white superhero. So you need to create a superhero like them that they can relate to. So I listened to that advice and started tinkering with names in my head. That was how I started creating black superheroes. And with time, I discovered that that was something I even loved to do more. Make black superheroes, use storylines of what happens within my own immediate society. And sometimes, if you look at some of the stories I make, like in Super Icons, I wanted to, it was more like a futuristic, it's more like a futuristic comic. There's no law that says Africans shouldn't make sci-fi storylines because Egypt is the cradle of civilization, as where science started, and so many other wonderful things. So why would we always make storylines that have to do with things that happened in the past when there was no civilization?
Yeah.
Africans should also be futuristic. Think about flying cars. Think about high tech. And so in the story Super Icon, I incorporated sci-fi. There's no law that says Africans shouldn't make sci-fi storylines. So we need to stop setting those boundaries for us. So there's a pool of stories from where you can draw one or two things from and create an issue of superhero comics.
Mm. Yeah, that issue with your brother telling you that, that's the same issue that, people here in America goes through. They the white superhero and stuff. And, like growing up, that's all you would see. You didn't really see too many black superheroes like that. There was few. You see I would say Black Vulcan, Black Lightning,
Blade,
Cyborg from the Teen Titans. You seen Black Panther, but I wasn't
yeah,
too like a big Black Panther fan like that. When they started, I've read like in a lifetime, I probably read one issue of it or a couple of issues. Yeah, where him and
yeah,
Storm got married and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, I noticed that now, in this era there's like there's black artists, kind of emerging, like especially on Instagram,
yeah,
because I see them, yeah, because I see a couple, they're from Atlanta, Georgia, and they have like a series of comics. Like if you see the background, like you'll
mm,
see these. Let me show it to you real
okay,
quick. Hold on. Oh, no, I guess not. But if you see the background, you'll see like the different comics that they've created and stuff. They're
yeah,
all black. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good take on that. Yeah,
And
like
the thing is, even before we came across the comic books, I think blacks had always had superheroes, even before whites. The white superheroes we started hearing about in cinema. Because when we were kids, back in our childhood, you have a lot of stories told about great black warriors and the things they did in their society, fighting off external threats and protecting their people. These people were ever battle ready. Nobody chronicled their stories. Nobody said anything about them. So when we see some of these comics, we think that the comic culture started with from places like US. No, we were told these folk tales when we are still little kids about the exploits of some exceptional black characters. So the comic medium only offers you an option to chronicle some of these, create likelihoods of these uh, heroes you've heard about in the past, and give them a platform to tell the African story. That we also have superheroes, people who could put their lives on the line so that the society could be better. We've always had people like that. So it's not the comic culture that brought the comic culture only offered a platform for us to tell our own side of the story. The whites, probably in the US or Britain or wherever, have their own heroes. We've also had our heroes even before recorded history, and they are passed down as folk tales. So it's always been around. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. They, I mean, like they have like African mythologies. Like
yeah,
some comic book creators, they've been influenced, like they've been inspired, like doing their projects through like reading African mythologies.
yeah,
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 yeah, I've talked with I would say like should I say several, a few, but you know, I've spoken to some artists that has been inspired by just like reading African mythologies.
yeah.
Why
Sure.
don't you tell me about this character?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the main one that was influenced by what I just said. Now, the whole
Yeah,
storyline was influenced by what I said. This is, let's say, pre-colonial Africa, and back in those times, you have kingdoms and you have kings, you have warriors becoming the protectors of their people and trying to ward off external threats. So this particular story, I named it Obidike. Obidike in Igbo language is an Igbo word. It means the heart of a warrior, or
okay,
like you call it, a brave heart. So that's what he was named by his father. The father is a king and he is a warrior. But in that family, he has a half brother who is his elder brother, who is supposed to be the apparent heir to the throne. But he was reckless and he was vindictive. So the father passed on, as the story continued, father, instead of passing on the throne to the immediate elder brother, discovered that Obidike himself was very responsible, dedicated to duty, and he had all the qualities a king should have that the elder brother didn't have. So the father
right,
made a daring decision and turned around and gave the throne to Obidike. And that wasn't funny to the elder brother. The elder brother became vindictive and somehow found a way to break himself out of detention and hunt down Obidike. Obidike vacated his throne, was chased into the forest and the jungle. They thought he would die there, but he survived and raised his own army and came back to the kingdom for his throne. So I'm just beginning the story. I think I've gotten as far as the third issue. It is a story that keeps on going and going. Probably I could round it off at 20th issue. I'm just going
uh,
at it direct. So it's a wonderful story talking about that is centered on the African traditional society and some of the issues they faced. Issue of external threats, people attacking them. It's also in the comic. Other people trying to attack them and they protecting their kingdoms. And then again, the issues that happen in families, royal families, power tussle and everything, how it can tear families apart, and also one man's determination to take back his throne that the father gave and the challenges he faced. The lesson there is that no matter the challenges you face, you can still rise above it and come back and reclaim what is yours.
right. You know, like growing up, I heard about like it's this. I don't know if you're familiar with Shaka Zulu.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it kind
Shaka
of
Zulu
remind
happened
me a little
before.
bit about that.
Yeah,
He was like an
yes, way,
outcast.
way back. Yeah,
Yeah, he
Way
was
back.
like an outcast, and then he had to regain his throne.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot
yeah,
of
they
people. uh, Go ahead.
no, okay, no, I was they had a mini series. That's how I learned about him. Like this was years ago when I was a kid. I was in school,
Yes.
and people here in the U.S. We was talking about the movie. People was talking about the movie, like the mini series. They would show it
Mm-hmm.
like this was like in the 80s. So it was like a, a 7-part series or something like that. But
Yes.
but like yeah, like it goes on like the early stage. Like first they show how the whites came to South Africa, and then
Mm,
they was kind of like trying to bargain with him or something like that. And then
yeah.
they went
Yeah.
to his childhood. And so and so like he wanted, so Shaka Zulu, he wanted to kind of he wanted to use them in like for like war, because they had
Yeah.
that artillery and stuff like that to
The
fight the
artillery, the
armies.
guns. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And
Mm,
so I know they showed like slowly how he just became, if I could say, corrupt. And
yeah.
he he kind of oppressed his people.
Yes.
And so
Yes. He wanted
his
to. He wanted to reign forever. At the time, I think he got power drunk and wanted to make the Zulu tribe the strongest tribe and to also sit on the throne and didn't want any opposition whatsoever.
yeah, yeah. That I mean, I've
Yeah, but
heard of Mansa Musa. He was like the richest king in the world,
yeah.
possibly. Yeah. But somebody pointed out that he did it. He got rich through slavery. That was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So in my own story, I avoided all that because you tell a story that is only relevant to your own culture. We didn't have much of that um, external influence in our African society or trying to um, make a deal with the whites and stuff like that. In this story, I wanted to eliminate all that. I wanted to make it more like this is apart from external issues or external interference,
yeah,
there could be some, you can build a story from a society, a particular society that as an African society, they have their own issues without external interference. They have their own issues they have to battle. People are taken away from their throne unjustly, and they have to reclaim what is theirs. You don't need to incorporate maybe an external body into that story to make it what it should be. So I didn't see that wasn't the line I told. It was like something is taken away from you. And another thing that made him go for his throne, decide to take his throne back, was it was handed to him by his father before the father died. And another aspect of the story is that his vindictive elder brother came to his father and killed his own father for daring to hand the throne over to his younger brother. So that's something you don't get in any other story. You hardly get in another storyline. And so he swore that if he could kill his own brother, his own father, that he would definitely go after his own brother that had the guts to sit on the throne that he was supposed to sit on. But he didn't succeed in killing the younger brother because the younger brother was a better warrior and a fighter than he is. So they chased him into the jungle and thought he would die in the jungle. Like, guess what? He survived and was able to harness the power of the jungle to his own advantage. And he came back looking a bit stronger and ready to take back his.
okay. Yeah, that's an interesting story. I mean, why don't we look at a slide right now, of your work? We
Okay.
come back. All right. Yeah, I did the same pictures. I put the For some reason I was having little
Nice.
problems of trying to put some pictures there. So, I don't know if it was too big or something, but I just put like the same pictures and different pictures into a slide.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I kind of are you a political, would you say you're a political cartoonist?
Yeah. I also delve into the world of satirical cartoons,
Yeah.
criticizing the ills in the society through a funny way. Yeah, I do that. I love doing that. And it's more like me, I see myself being an activist, using art to be an activist. Yes. So I do a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, because I seen some of your stuff on Instagram, and they show the Black Thunder, but they also show that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Some cartoons, political cartoons. Yeah.
What made you like? What gave you the confidence to just draw and put your work out there?
Oh, well, what gave me the confidence was that I felt that it wasn't my art form or the way I draw wasn't inferior to anything out there. I've come of age. And I think people need to also, on the world out there needs to know that Africa has creative comic artists and our works can compete with anyone on any level out on anywhere out there. So that was one thing that gave me confidence to put it out there because I believe in the quality of my works and I also believe that we also have some stories to tell. And lastly, I think it's about time Africa got out their own superheroes out there with the same confidence that the other parts of the world also exhibit their own superheroes out there. And I must tell you, I've been really encouraged by the feedback, even though we are not there yet. But it should get to a point where there should be the financial aspects, the financial gains need to accompany that level of dedication and passion for that art. But we're not there yet. But the thing is, we keep moving. It's through visibility that people notice you. So what gave me the confidence is that I believe in the quality of art, and I believe that Africa has that superhero story to tell, their own side of superhero story to tell.
Do you like, from what you told me earlier about how Like there's a lot of comic book artists and writers there, but they not really consistent on it because of certain financial issues. Like, do you guys kind of would do you kind of like collaborate together to kind of create an entity, a comic book entity besides yourself?
Mm,
Or
yeah. The thing is that I haven't had any collaboration, so to say,
yeah,
and probably sometime in future. I have nothing against that. I would love to work together with other artists maybe on projects. But for now, I think the before that happens, I still need to maintain that visibility and let the world know, hey, we've got talent over here as well. But probably one of these days, or sometime in the near future, it would also be a welcome idea for me to attend one of those comic conventions in the US, see
yeah,
what other people are doing, rub minds together, exchange ideas, and form partnerships. That would be nice because I don't, I'm not the kind of artist that wants to work in isolation. No, I believe I can collaborate. Yeah, but in collaborating, you also need to show people that you are an artist in your own right first before they take you serious and want to do any
yeah,
collaboration with you. Yeah, people like
yeah.
Jim Lee, John Byrne, you
No, I
before
was
they
talking about.
collaborate, yeah, before they
I'm sorry,
collaborate with
I was
any
talking about in Africa. Like, are there like people that you know, like where you at, Nigeria? Like, is there people, other artists or
other
writers
artists.
that you could just collaborate and make a company or something like that?
Um, Probably we could work on a project and like partner as one brand with another. But I know that there are other artists. I may not remember their names now. I've seen works by other artists that are, like I said, there are other good comic artists here in Nigeria doing their
Yeah,
thing. So it's not just me. It's more like I would even say we are almost getting it, becoming an army of comic book artists. But the thing is, we need to become more uh, visible. And over
yeah,
here, for you to be visible, you don't have situation whereby, like I said, I haven't collaborated yet with any artist, but hopefully I will. I'm open to any collaboration work um, project. But over here, the thing is, you don't, the people don't usually, how do I put it? The collaboration issue is, yeah, over here, one of the challenges artists have is no brand wants to say, hey, we want to adopt your character and probably inject the funds needed, make it a bigger stuff. But we have other artists you can collaborate with. That could be possible if it happens. You see, so many brands haven't started buying into this idea of let's adopt a character and make it bigger, provide you with funds and the platforms you need. Most of us that are visible on online are visible because we inject our own funds. Like I have a work I do, so probably part of my salary goes into funding my brands. The hard copy comics I've printed and getting the art materials and putting them out there, and sometimes even working on websites. Those things are things that claim. In fact, to keep being in the game in the comic art world, you need to fund yourself. If there's no brand coming to fund you, you have to fund yourself to maintain that visibility in the area of providing your own art materials, in the area of making sure you're still visible over there. And once in a while, you boost you make a post of a superhero or a page or a cartoon, you boost it. It costs money to maintain that visibility. So because we don't have other brands that are ready to give you that push you need. So you have to depend on yourself. You're the creator, you're the artist, you're the financier. So it's a lot of work. That's why sometimes probably it could take double the time to finish a project. But if you had other people helping you, it could take less of the time. So in answering your question, I think yeah, I'm open for partnerships and there are other good comics probably in the near future. Something.
Okay. How long does it take you to how long did it take you to work on Black Thunder or your the African King that you was working on, would you say?
Yeah, an edition can take on average, let's say a month or 3 weeks of intense work. But of
Okay.
course, sometimes you have to tend to your other work. Yeah, so to make ends meet. So that could make the work go beyond a month. And being for the fact that you combine a lot of goals. You're writing the story, you're writing the conversations, you're also inking and sketching and doing the digital coloring. That's why it should take up to a month or even a month, 2 weeks to finish the project. Yeah.
Okay. So so you have a website for like distribution and all that stuff?
Yeah, I have a website. It temporarily went offline
Oh, okay.
due to some issues with banks because I host that website on Wix. So recently I wanted to make payments, how to that's pay the host fees and everything. So the payments kept having problem. My card details kept bouncing up. So continued probably with some the banking issues here in Nigeria of not accepting from foreign payments and stuff like that became a
Mm,
problem. So I said, okay, fine. While waiting for all those issues to be ironed out, because that website had been online for a while. And if you go to some of my projects, you'll discover meggocomics.com. That's the website. It temporarily went offline due to the problem I told you about. But while waiting for those problems to be addressed and for me to come back online, I decided to keep working so that I'll have fresh content to put out there when next I am online. Hopefully that should be before this year ends. I'll bring it back.
mm, okay.
But
Like
before
yeah,
then, I use
I'm
my social media handles to put out my work. Then plus Nova Tunes that is presently handling online distribution of my comics right now. So most people that want to read my comics go to novatunes.com. Yeah.
okay. All right. And you said the feedback is really good. Like people been giving you really good feedback on that.
Yeah, people have been giving me good feedback and the encouragement is enormous. That's why I keep one of the things that makes me keep going. The financial gains may not be there, but the encouragement is there. And I think on my Facebook page, I have a followership of 11,000.
Okay, I need to check
So
your Facebook page. I just seen you on Instagram. I mean, they both
yeah,
the same, but I just seen Instagram. I just discovered you on Instagram. I didn't see
okay.
your own Facebook page. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, I have my largest following on Facebook, 11,000, and I'm really appreciative of that. That shows that over here in Nigeria, people appreciate comics. That's if you maintain that visibility, they appreciate comics. But like I said, it hasn't yet translated into a business yet, something that brings in the money and makes you say, okay, I'm signing up from every other work I'm doing. I'm going to keep
Right.
doing this comic. Let me face it squarely. No, you have to have some other thing to at least augment for now. But I just hope that probably in the near future, this art craft, this type of art will start bringing what it should. But for now, we do it
Yeah.
basically because of the passion we have. I love doing comics naturally. I love them.
You ever thought about like moving to the US or like just
Yeah, that
I don't know. It's
the
easy for me to say.
yeah, but the thing is, I would love to do that for so many reasons. I would love to do that. Number one reason is this: the comic culture in the US is more established than it is over here. We are just like
Yeah,
pioneers, and we've been pioneers in the game for many years. At least something should have changed by now. But then people say, "Oh, you can draw well. I like your drawings," and they keep it up and they work fast. But in places like US, it goes beyond that. It could actually be something bigger. So I would love to go over to that place because they call comic culture. People understand comics better over there.
yeah.
Over here in Nigeria, there are a lot of people that, or a good number of people understand comics. In fact, I had primary school friends. We used to read comics in primary schools. Kids read comics here in Nigeria, but the thing is, they don't see it as like a business or livelihood. It's just something you do, like a hobby to them. And so I need to go over to a place where it is really um, where you get the patronage and the encouragement you deserve. Then again, being a digital artist, because I color my comics from my system. Then another one of the challenges you have in Nigeria is the the power supply is not really that stable. You may have let's say a deadline to meet and the light goes off and you lose like some hours. You can't meet your deadline. So probably being in an environment where constant power supply isn't an issue would help me meet up with deadlines faster. And so then again, you want to go to a place where your labor and passion is much more rewarded. It becomes a business and a brand for you. So I would love to move if the opportunity presents itself.
We say when you say your power supply, you mean the lights? You lose
Yeah, the
your
light.
lights? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
Oh,
lights
all
go
right.
off and
Wow.
you have to switch to an alternative source of power supply. That's the generator until the light comes back.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Yeah. So you never went like, wait, let me ask you. So like the people that read your comics, are they like outside America? I mean, outside of Africa, or
yeah, there are people who are outside. Of course, there are a lot of people that read my comics that are outside Africa. Some of them were already in Nigeria and they traveled out to the US or UK, still keep
okay,
contact and they read my comics. I also have people who are Americans, quite a handful of them that have seen my comics and have gotten messages of encouragement. But my largest audience, comic audience, if I may say so, over time has come from Nigeria. I was once a teacher, an arts teacher in a secondary school. So I that was where I printed my first Black Thunder comic with a colored page. So I got a lot of patronage from the students. And I won't forget that. I really appreciate them for that. They actually the patronage they gave, the patronage from them made me believe in the project that there's future for a brighter future for what I do. So I have those who are not Africans who read my comics. I also have those who are Africans but not Nigerians who read my comics. And I've gotten letters, emails over the years, gotten letters and emails of encouragement and commendation.
yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you never been to a comic book convention at all, like they,
I haven't. I'm yet to attend one, but I only see them on Facebook,
yeah.
and I feel that I would love to be there to partner, rub minds together, look around, and when you are in the midst of people who do what you do, it feels like home.
Right.
But when you're in an environment where it feels like nobody really understands you, but they also admire your talent all the same, but you don't have a gathering of like minds where you rub minds together and partner, exchange ideas. So that's one of the reasons why I would love to attend a convention, a comic convention in the US.
Yeah, I've been to a comic book convention, like, but I've been there since this was like 2012. Um, yeah,
Okay.
and then like New York Comic Con, it's expensive too,
Mm-hmm.
like just to even put like a venue there, because I was looking at it the other day. It's like, wow, this is expensive, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was there, I draw. I used, there was times that I've drawn, but I wasn't consistent like you. You know, I had other things too, and I didn't know how far that was gonna go with the drawing thing
Yeah.
because, like, like when I was a kid, my thing was like the superheroes and the animation and all that stuff like that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
cartoons kind of did it for me to just draw, but then you know, I
Mm.
I wasn't consistent. So over the years, I was kind of decided to go to a show, and I went there, and the artists there, they gave me constructive criticism. I've met my
Mm.
friend. He friend in elementary, I mean junior high school. He does comics. He been working for like Marvel, DC for like maybe I would say 20 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I met him. I didn't know I wasn't I didn't really know that he was doing that, but like years
Okay.
before I seen his name there, but I didn't realize it was that same person that I knew. So when I seen
Mm.
him, I was like, wow, yo, you do this stuff? Like, wow, okay, yeah. So, like over the years, he did like Batgirl, when she was Cassandra Cain. I had the issue with
Yeah.
that, and he does Spider-Man, and he worked with who he worked with? He worked with like Snoop Dogg, like but like for
Okay.
like I think like to kind of like for what he did with Snoop Dogg. He did a mural for I think
Okay.
on Snoop Dogg. No, it was Steph Curry. He had a basketball school or something. He did projects with them. That's all. Because I don't look at his
Mm.
page like that, but I know he
Yeah.
worked with Snoop Dogg and Steph Curry and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
with comics, I just decided, I wanted to talk with various comic book artists and writers. And
Yeah.
you just caught my interest of like doing because I never really came across like a Nigerian comic book company or Nigerian superhero,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know, like Africa is always portrayed as you know very poor, that's or other things, you know.
Yeah.
I would say that that you know that it do have like a rich culture, especially like in the past where you had great kingdoms and stuff,
Yeah.
but like in the West, that it's always pictured that it's always pictured as um being poor. Yeah,
That's that, and that is a misconception. There are people that live well here in Nigeria, Africa. But the thing is that the Western world tries to project that picture of poverty. And that's why probably some people out there in the US will think, hey, I don't think there are comic book artists in Nigeria or in Africa. Probably they
right,
haven't even taken care of other basic needs. They won't have time to practice such an art form or have the passion for that. But there are a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians or Africans who are into comics. They are into video games, developing apps, software. So it's just like you need to. A lot of people who come here to Nigeria or Africa go back with a different mindset. But if you really focus on what the Western media feeds you, you will think that this place we are still living in thatch houses and caves. So that's a total misconception. Even though the people in leadership need to do more to up their game here in Africa. But the fact remains that Africans themselves are resilient and they find a way to get by and still provide themselves with basic things of life and live. But a lot needs to be done on the part of leadership. That when somebody has this idea, "Oh, they're so poor, they can't even feed, they're dressed in rags and stuff like that." That's a big misconception. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My folks are from Liberia. I was born here.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So I've been here most of
Oh,
my
that's
life.
nice.
Yeah.
Because I
So
looked at your name, the surname itself, it didn't sound American though. Sounded
yeah,
African,
KLA.
but I couldn't
Oh,
really
my
zero in.
My
No,
Instagram, or
the Nugba.
yes,
Nugba.
Nugba. Yeah, Nugba.
Okay, Nugba. All right.
Yeah,
That was the name
right.
that made me say, hey, this sounds a bit African.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
yeah. What else I wanted to ask you? Do you watch like comic book movies? Like
Oh man, I love comic book movies. I love
what's your
comic book
favorite one?
movies. Avengers.
Oh,
Avengers.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Which one? The whole series?
The whole Civil War,
Yeah,
Endgame, and
yeah.
the rest of them. I love them. I love and another thing is that they kind of like you may watch a superhero movie, and if you hadn't done comics, sometimes you just switch off. You haven't done comics like 2 months. You're weighed down by other things about maybe your work and other family issues, and all of a sudden you just settle down and watch a superhero movie, and it reignites that passion again, and you want to go back and keep working. So it's like there's a connection between me and comics, and when I see those superhero movies, they I it's this, it, my imagination and creativity feeds off stuff like that. Either it's physical comics or the movies or cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was at that point, like when you was a teacher, that's when you wanted to do comics, like to wanted to print your own comic.
No, like I said, I printed my first comic, the black and white Black Thunder. I think when I was in the university, that was
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
when I was in university, and that was before I even became a teacher. But the idea of owning a comic brand was it came to my head way back when I was in you guys call it high school, but we call it secondary school over here.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was still a kid then, and I said, hey, if these guys over there in the US could have their own brands and their own comic brands and name and superheroes, I can have create my own name and have my own
Right.
superhero and have a brand of my own over here. So it started all the way from childhood. And it was while I was in university that my brothers put money together and me too somehow went and registered Meggo Comics in the Corporate Affairs Commission here in Nigeria. It's a registered business name. So that was even before I graduated from university and got a job as a teacher. So I've been doing it right way back. So it's not when I started teaching as a teacher. That was even when I got I think my biggest patronage. I was once significant about when I was a teacher. My students actually loved the fact that I was an art teacher and I would draw on the board for them when I want to explain something. So they were naturally fond of me and my talent. So when I told them I have a comic that I just printed, if you guys are interested, let me know. I thought it was a joke. Most of them came to me and said, would like to buy. And some of them that bought showed their friends, and more of their friends came. So
Wow, that's cool.
it, it really it, really-
I
it
dig that.
really made me feel very encouraged. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Like, wow, they chipped in to just help you out. That's cool.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
Yeah,
we
I mean,
stopped the hard copy printing. I think a couple of years back we stopped it. Then Meggo Comics morphed or upgraded into digital publication. So all my comics are now in digital form. That's why an international audience can still access my comics easily. So we're trying to transcend the stage of hard copy into digital copies. So we're no longer printing hard copy, digital copies.
okay, yeah. Um, how do you see yourself like maybe like 5 years down the line? Just still working on stuff. Do you have any projects, like even future projects that you're working on now?
Yeah, I do. I do. The thing is because I'm just one artist in my brand, so I don't have to like bite off more than I can chew. I need to like stay on the heroes and characters I've created already and try to keep them running. And then again, in the next 5 years, next couple of years, I also think about brand merchandising. Probably team up with a brand that produces t-shirts. I've advertised some t-shirts on my website and some of my Instagram pages.
Okay.
T-shirts for sale. Probably team up with a brand that can buy the image rights, put those superhero images on face caps, t-shirts, lunch boxes, food flasks. I even started off by doing that with my own fonts. This is
Oh yeah. I
a
think I
mug.
seen one like on
Yes,
Instagram.
a
Yeah.
mug of Black Thunder,
That's
then a
cool.
mug of
That's cool.
OBDK,
Yeah.
and then a
Yeah.
mug of Super Icon. So I want to go
Yeah.
into that aspect of product merchandising, put them on other platforms. Or maybe someday a company comes and buys off the image rights for Black Thunder to make a video game of it. I project and I see those things happening. Let's hope for the best.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Best of luck to you, man. I admire your consistency, you know.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much. And I also
no
appreciate the
doubt.
fact that you give artists this visibility by telling the world, hey, these guys are doing something good. You guys need to notice them. So I appreciate what you do. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
All right. All right, folks. This a wrap. So thanks for watching.
Yeah.